Alright, let's cut to the chase. Scientists can go on and on about climate change, telling tales of doom and gloom to a desensitized audience. Half the people feel like they're falling asleep in a lecture hall, the other half want answers to these problems, not more info. To the first group, I say, try a double shot or something. To the second group, I say, keep watching this episode of Planet Zero. So today we're going to give you a quick rundown on 12 different things that you can do right now, today, to help fight climate change. Some of these are going to be easy, and some of them are going to be a little bit more difficult, but that's so you can change your daily life and adjust according to how you see fit. Now, not all of these are going to be for everyone, and no one typically does all of these, but when it comes to lowering your carbon footprint, any action is better than no action. Anyways, let's get into it. Alright, the first change on our list is definitely one of the easiest ones in my opinion.
Vote for politicians who take this seriously.
If you believe that climate change is as big as a threat as scientists say that it is, then this should be one of your top priorities every election.
Make sure you know where your candidates stand on this issue and vote accordingly. Also, check to see who's funding your politicians. Money speaks louder than votes, and someone may say they're tough on climate change while taking handouts from Chevron. Sites like opensecrets.org can help you trace this. Link in the description.
This next change may be a little bit more difficult depending on your surroundings.
Talk about climate change with skeptics.
Whether these are your friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, gardeners, your Uber driver, or Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on your door, we need to be talking about this. There is still a large portion of our population that believes that climate change is not the threat that it has been proven to be. We all know at least one person in this group, and it's our responsibility to make sure that they understand the gravity of the situation. The sooner we erase the misinformation and propaganda that deniers are spreading, the sooner we can work together on finding a solution. Change 3 is for the more dedicated individuals.
Join a resistance group and make your voice heard.
We briefly touched on this in our economics video, but there are tons of protest groups hard set at getting policy changes before it's too late.
A couple of the largest ones are Extinction Rebellion, 350.org, Sierra Club, the Sunrise Movement, and Greenpeace, although there are hundreds of groups all around the world.
Do some research on which groups speak to you, see what it takes to join, and even go so far as to attend a protest, with the proper protection of course. This is a fairly easy switch you can make today to help lower your carbon footprint.
Reducing the amount of meat you eat, specifically beef.
Meat comes with a really high carbon cost when you factor in the energy needed to raise the animals, transport their food, power the factories where they're processed, the shipping to get them to the market, and the freezers to keep them fresh.
Not to mention cow burps are a leading source of methane emissions in America.
If everyone could replace their meat with tofu just once or twice a week, or even just shift from red meat to chicken and fish, we would see a drop in emissions. Remember, when it comes to fighting climate change, it's not all or nothing. Every small sacrifice is meaningful. Another way to lower the carbon footprint of your dinner?
Buy as much local produce as possible.
A lot of carbon emissions come from shipping food around the world. By buying from local farmers and locally sourced produce, we can help to reduce this as much as possible. Buy fruits and vegetables when they're in season, because those peaches at the market in winter or the tangerines in summer are usually shipped from thousands of miles away. You could even take this a step further and grow your own vegetables in your garden, like victory gardens during World War II. These come at the lowest carbon footprint out of any food on the planet. Plus, you get the added benefit of knowing exactly how your food is sourced, free of any pesticides or fertilizers that you don't want on your salad. This is probably the hardest change on our list.
Go vegetarian or vegan.
Now, I'll be honest, I know I can't personally make this switch, and many of us can't. Meat is just too big a part of some of our daily lives to give it up completely. But that doesn't mean we can't try.
Maybe try going vegetarian for a week and see how it works with you. Maybe eat vegan meals just once or twice a week.
You would be surprised how delicious some vegetarian food can be. Just ask India.
I would dare say South Asia has perfected the art of meatless cuisine, but hey, don't take my word for it. Try some yourself.
Now, this change only works if you have friends, so
All you people who still play League of Legends,
just skip this one, yeah?
carpool as much as possible.
If you and your friends are going to a restaurant or the movies or the mall, arrange for one person to drive each time.
The less time we spend alone in our cars, the less traffic and air pollution there will be in the city.
Plus, you get to drive in that sweet, sweet HOV lane while vibing with the homies. What's there to lose? This next change may be a little harder depending on your neighborhood.
Take alternative forms of transportation. This means walking, biking, busing, or taking the train or subway. Now, not every city is as friendly towards public transit, such as Los Angeles, but the option always exists in one form or another.
Once again, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Of course, you can still drive your car to work if you have no other way to get there, but maybe try biking for shorter distances. It all adds up. If you have the money available, or you're in the position to make the switch,
Give up your gas car for a hybrid or full electric car.
these cars can be slightly more expensive than their gas counterparts, but this comes with the added benefit of fewer trips to the gas station, if any.
There are so many cool electric cars besides the Prius on the market, spanning from the average everyday car to performance vehicles that are as good, if not better, than the oil-powered competitors.
If it's within your budget, I urge you to make the switch. This is something that goes hand in hand with pollution and climate change.
Reduce your demand for single-use plastics.
Single-use plastics dominate our lives and come directly from oil pumped out of the ground.
To turn oil into plastic produces tons of carbon dioxide, so it becomes wise to shift to more sustainable alternatives. Use reusable water bottles instead of plastic ones. Use washable containers in the kitchen instead of disposable bags. Bring your own bags at the grocery store.
Above all, just be conscious and aware of every single piece of plastic that you use and throw out on a daily basis. This change is definitely going to be harder for some people than others.
Cut back on the amount of clothes you buy.
You've probably heard of fast fashion before.
Cheap clothes designed to be worn for a season or two, thrown out and then replaced by the next trend. A perfect consumerist model.
However, the production, the manufacturing, and the shipping from the fashion industry causes 10% of all our carbon dioxide emissions. Now, of course, you can still go out and buy new clothes,
But avoid these fast fashion, big polluting companies.
Finally, our last tip on this list:
Buy as few new electronics as possible.
the carbon dioxide that comes from manufacturing electronics is a huge part of our global emissions.
This comes from mining metals to make them, the manufacture of processors, hardware, and batteries, and the electricity they use once they're finished.
Keep your cell phone for longer instead of replacing it. Don't buy new gadgets like iPads or new TVs if you don't really need them. Not only will you be saving so much money, but you'll be lowering your carbon footprint significantly. Like we said at the beginning of this video, and as we've been saying throughout it, making any one of these changes is going to lower your carbon footprint significantly and therefore affect climate change ever so slightly.
These changes become much more impactful when done in large groups, so try to get your friends and family on board and make changes together.
It can feel hopeless at times when we look at how much carbon dioxide corporations are producing, but that doesn't mean our individual actions don't make a difference. Governments may be lagging behind on meaningful cuts to emission levels, but that doesn't mean that we do too. In our next episode, we're going to be looking at the ozone layer and the oh so rare positive environmental story about how international cooperation helped to fix this issue.
By using this as an example for how to address climate change, we could potentially see a similar result.
Join the discussion in the comments section below, and maybe comment some idea that you have to help lower emission levels, because there's definitely a lot of other good ideas out there that we couldn't fit all into this video. Last but not least, make sure to like and subscribe to support Planet Zero. Okay, bye!